Pay me, pay me, pay me my silver now. Pay me or go to jail. Pay me my silver now.
Good morning, Bix Weir. RoadToRuta.com with your morning horn of Z's, your sip of chocolate coffee. Okay, lots going on today, tomorrow, the next day. For the rest of our lives, there's a lot going on. The destruction of the unbacked fiat monetary system. We are this close. First, let's get to silver. Silver is being controlled. If you look at the 6-month chart of silver, you can see when silver, the small amount, four huge banks that short silver, control the price of silver, the four big commercials, you can see when they really stopped putting the pressure on. I think it's because the Bank of America lease of the JP Morgan silver was coming to an end. And that's right here in the middle of March, right here. I think this will be the historical low, $20. The historical low for silver forever, at least in fiat money terms. Maybe when the banks crash and all money is wiped out, whatever's money is left might be very valuable. I doubt it. I think we'll go to a new type of money. But something happened in silver. And what was it? All these leases that Bank of America put on from JP Morgan, I believe they have it fixed back in, purchase price set, so it's more like a sale. That's why JP Morgan had to book $1 billion gain in gold and silver back when they paid that fine of almost $1 billion. It's amazing how criminal bankers always end out on top. I was in the banking industry for a long time, 25 years. No, I did not consort with the market riggers. And there's only a handful really who really control this shit. JP Morgan has the lead spot in rigging most markets these days, but it wasn't always JP Morgan. That buck's been passed for silver, Drexel Burnham to what was the name of that? Drexel Burnham. It ended up, Bear Stearns had the silver short, hot potato. From there, when JP Morgan took over Bear Stearns, they pretty much took over all commodities. Blythe Masters, who was in charge of spreading the credit default swaps, one of the big reasons for 2008 calamity, was put in charge of derivatives because she would run her derivative scam there. And while she was running that department, that's what JP Morgan got busted on RICO charges. Well, it should have been RICO charges. I think it was in the background, but they're not going to tell you that, for rigging the gold and silver markets. What does that mean? It means today the price you see isn't the real price of silver. But it also means that something has changed in the silver market. And you can clearly see that with the vaults. The COMEX vaults are down at historical lows, at least for a long time. Look at the LBMA vaults. This is silver on the bottom. The LBMA vaults, right in 2001, literally have been dropping like a rock. That's a shocking look for a commodity that is so incredibly scarce. They're not going to the mines anymore. They're going directly to the vaults, anywhere they can find silver. And most of this silver, 100% of the silver is owned by somebody. The question is, what will they give it up as? At what price will they give it up? The CME COMEX now no longer delivers silver. It was clear this month was the smallest delivery month in silver probably in history, at least going back 30 years. Less than 15 million ounces. Although some are still hanging on. I mean, there's still 747 contracts left that for some reason aren't getting delivered. I mean, remember, it costs every day, it costs you money to store silver. If you had the silver, you would have delivered by now, but they haven't. Obviously, it's a small amount, less than, about 4 million ounces. But that might be the big amount. 4 million ounces to the banks is nothing. If you look at the daily volume on London, the LBMA, it's a shocking number. Hundreds of millions of ounces delivered, supposedly. But clearly something is going on, because even their regular reporting says, I think we've hit the low right here. I think everything else is just either fake numbers or people who are unwilling to sell at any price. So we'll find out in the near future. Again, more exchange for physicals. Exchange for physical is how you buy a contract on the CME, on the COMEX, and you can get it for cheap, and then you transfer it over to London for delivery, so you won't, the big problems that the Hunt brothers had was that they tried to take delivery of COMEX silver, and that's where they got in trouble. That's where the exchange basically said, okay, no more buy orders, only sell orders, and they got destroyed. The government came in and basically stole their money, stole their silver. But they were playing in the banker's game. This way you can buy a COMEX contract and then move it over to the delivery facility in London, and you can have it delivered that day, I believe, or close to that day. Now, I'm not saying London's not going to shut that down. I think they will, because it's an association. It's not an exchange. But we will see. Harvey Organ does a great job tracking this. And I think this is the most important data you can possibly look at. How many contracts couldn't be delivered on the COMEX, so it had to go over to London. And you look historically, look at 1 year ago in March, they did the record, which was 207 million ounces of silver in a month. That's a massive number. And they can't do that these days. This March, it was only 100, so about half of what got delivered the year before, because they don't have the silver. They're running out of available silver, and one day it'll be gone. And the price of silver will instantly go from $25 to unknown numbers, because there won't be any silver left to be delivered. Everybody will have gotten what they could, and then the public will come in. Public only gets in when prices rise. Remember that. We want the price to stay low if you're a buyer of silver. If you want to sell it, you want a mania. Because everybody and their mother is going to run in and try to buy it. It just won't be there. And we are about to hit the mania phase in silver. Cliff calls it unobtainium. I do expect to see $1, $5 jumps per day, and then the shutdown of the COMEX at probably over $50, which is the all-time high from 1980. 1980! How much money has been printed since 1980? It's so insane. Silver is the best investment in the history of mankind. I think they'll let gold run first, because they don't care about gold. There's so much gold. Everybody has gold. Every banker has gold. A small handful know how much gold there is in the world, or close to. And it's in the millions of tons, not the 100,000 tons. But gold will still increase in price, because they printed a lot more money and variations of money, derivatives, in those days. I've been hearing a lot of people saying, oh my God, JP Morgan has all these derivatives on gold that'll destroy them. You're forgetting the other side of that equation. JP Morgan holds massive amounts of gold too. So the derivatives could be the just the price hedging of their actual physical gold. Because while they were stealing silver, they were shorting it on the COMEX, massive amounts. And then the government stopped them. But I'm not so sure they stopped them on the gold. I think they had $30 billion worth of physical gold. That's what would cover the derivatives in gold for JP Morgan. I don't know. They might have had to get rid of that too. I don't think so, because banks are leaning towards gold. Don't forget, when these big banks that hold gold start to falter, have their derivatives crushed, the first asset they're going to sell is gold. Most of the banks don't own any silver. JP Morgan did, but that's gone now. So, yeah, there's going to be a mismatch. You're going to see silver and gold go like this. Gold will probably go up slowly, and silver just literally rocket right by it if it's freely traded, or when it's freely traded, excuse me. So that's what's happening in silver. It's a waiting game. We've been waiting for a long time. It's all right. It's all good. Yes, they can click a mouse and put the price of silver at minus $40, just like they did with oil. The price is not real. Everything you see is not real. If you hold it in your hand, that's real. All right, so what's going on? Janet Yellen says yesterday, Yellen warns of calamity unless Congress raises the debt limit. Okay, here's, as far as I can tell, every single entity on the planet, large entity that controls things, the Republicans and the Democrats, the good guys, the bad guys, the banks, the government, everybody wants the system to crash. Everybody wants the system. The United States government would love the system to crash. Why? Because we're the largest debtor nation the world has ever known. Massive debt. What happens when it crashes? All the debt goes away. Yes, you will own your house flat out. But as Cliff says, you won't want to live in a $600 silver world. Everything will be different. Everything is about to change. Everything. I don't think they're going to come to any conclusion. And then all of a sudden you see market chaos. That's why you got to get out of the stock market, get out of the bond market, get out of your banks. My God, get out of the banks, all of them. Don't make the mistake of getting out of a bank that is struggling and put your money into another bank that isn't struggling yet, or a big bank that has massive derivatives, because that derivative bubble is blowing right now. I can see a world where everybody runs out of the regional banks, but into the big banks. And then the big banks implode the derivatives because the regional banks have derivatives as well. Those are third-party counterparty shit. This is a game we are playing. As far as politics, the Democrats want the system to crash because they don't have a candidate. The Republicans want the system to crash because the blame would go on the Democrats. It's every single entity on the planet wants this system to end. Even the big banks want the system to crash to put in their CBDC shit. Or that's above the banks. The banks wouldn't benefit from CBDCs. It's a central bank digital currency. That would be competition against the banks. So everybody wants the system to crash. And so they can do it. They can do it today and tomorrow. Today and tomorrow are big days. Why? The Republicans are meeting with Joe Biden at 4 o'clock today. Why 4 o'clock? Because it's after the market close. So the market closes. They can't come to an agreement. Everybody starts freaking out. Everybody starts selling shit. And then tomorrow, Republicans to release memo on Biden family business dealings tomorrow. So after that, Republicans are going to release all the proof you need to show Joe Biden stole millions and millions and probably billions of dollars by selling influence, selling information to China, to the Ukraine, all over the world, the Biden family. But that's not just the Biden family. It's the Obama family. It's the Bush family. It's the Clinton family. They all were doing it. But they had control back then. Now they don't have control. So you got the double header. You got the no debt ceiling. It's more like a debt target. No lifting of the debt target. I would not be surprised come June 1st for Janet Yellen to say, okay, we're out of money, so hey, Jerome Powell, can you print us another $5 quadrillion so we can keep going? It's a systemic emergency. That's what they used before on Silicon Valley Bank. It was a systemic problem, so that gives us the authority to print as much money as we want. What should the price of gold and silver do when the Fed takes over what Congress should do? I don't know. That's just one scenario. More likely, we see more bank troubles, people running to the bank trying to get their money out, and then the government comes and says, okay, you can only take $20 out of your bank like they did in Cyprus. But this is happening on a global scale. It's not just America. It is all over. Europe is imploding. China is imploding too. They just print money and nobody cares because they're winning. They print 7-1 with the United States right now. All right. And then you have tomorrow also the CPI data comes out at 8:30 in the morning. They're expecting 5%, which is a leveling out because it was 5% last month. If it's higher than 5%, people will start saying, oh my God, inflation's starting up again. We'll never the interest rates will never go down again, and it's going to have to go up again, and they're going to continue the interest rate rise, and they won't go to zero interest rates. All this is being done to destroy the system. Get out of stocks, get out of bonds. Yes, they can, when they crash the stock market, they can crash gold and silver price as well. That's why you have to have it in your vault. Have to have it in your own possession. In your own possession only. Only. No mining stocks. Every country is going to wrap their arms around their people and say, the banks have crashed, we have no money, but look what we got on the ground. Mexico is going to be the richest country in the world. And they are not going to allow foreigners to own the country's wealth. They've done that for way too long. So that will end. The people will demand it. And once the people demand it, it's just a handful of congressmen that are going to be fighting it because they work for the banks. Here's what is expected for the inflation. Wall Street experts expect another month showing annual consumer price increased at 5%. So the average consensus is we've stopped dropping at the last raise, and we're going to stay at 5%. If it goes 5.1, all hell will break loose. If it goes 4.9, it'll be the Biden administration trying to save whatever they can. But again, I don't think they want to. So I'm expecting 5 or higher. And if it's higher, look out. And I told you guys last week and the end of last week that PacWest, they were going to try to basically save PacWest. PacWest is the next bank to go down. On Friday, they boosted all these regional banks, and they can do it with a click of a mouse, the Exchange Stabilization Fund. What I thought they were doing, and I still think they're doing it, and they rose 50% or something. They were trying to get rid of the shorts. Now all the shorts are bleeding on the regional banks, so they can allow it to drop again. So I do expect PacWest to take a massive hit on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And then we'll see if it lasts the weekend, along with a handful of other banks like Zion Bank. And there's a few of them that are similar situation. Oh, here's Zion Bank, yeah. All the regionals will go. I mean, all the banks will go ultimately, but the first will go the regionals. Everybody's going to run to their bank. Everybody's going to run their bank. So if you need cash and you have it in the bank, you better get it out. And here's a Goldman analysis of the 5 big things. We've talked about this already. The relationship between deposits and loan growth broke down. So much money was flooded into the system, they didn't have a place to put it. They bought securities that paid little interest, and then interest rates rise, and all of a sudden the securities that they bought are now underwater massively. I think it's over $1 trillion. They haven't announced the number for the third quarter yet. They will any day. I think it's over $1 trillion in losses at the medium-sized banks. These securities were purchased at a time when yields were much lower. The rapid interest rate hikes last year resulted in unrealized losses. And they're huge, massive losses. And they can't get rid of them. And if you tried to play it safe and went and bought U.S. Treasuries when the interest rate was 2%, you're screwed. Because everybody wants to get the higher interest-paying securities. So they're selling what you bought 2 years ago. Deposit outflows have been materially faster and larger than previous episodes of bank stress, although contained in a small number of banks. Yeah, the big banks are going first. That's scary. That means the little banks are just bleeding, but they're trying to hang on, and they're being helped by the Fed. And how much can they do it? I don't know. 3, perhaps the most shocking revelation made at Goldman's report is that in 14 years of stress tests, the Fed never once contemplated higher interest rates, although questions remain as to whether this would have addressed the recent issues. They never looked at what if interest rates have to go higher. We got stuck into a low interest rate world thinking, we can rig every market so no one would know that we're printing zillions of dollars. And this is the end game, my friends. But again, everybody wants the end game. Okay, Bitcoin is going through some struggles right now. I am not a huge fan of Bitcoin. I know Bitcoin will do well because people who have not gotten into cryptos yet will think, Bitcoin's the safest. That's why the banks will get into Bitcoin. That's why the big money gets into Bitcoin. Bitcoin's a savings. It's not useful at all as anything but a store of value. So they're writing these ordinal inscriptions on Bitcoin network. They're trying to turn Bitcoin into Ethereum. It's clogging up the system. It's slow. It's expensive. And all the Bitcoin maximalists are pissed off because they're always pissed off. There are better blockchains, so much better blockchains, and better use cases. Let Bitcoin be a store of value. I mean, to make anything but a store of value for Bitcoin would be, a waste of time because there's so many better cryptos out there. And my favorite by far is Theta. And by the way, did I tell you Theta just got another patent? I don't even know how many patents this is now. Theta awarded U.S. patent for decentralized edge storage network with flexible file sharding. Theta has set themselves up to be the number one blockchain on like almost every level. The biggest thing for me and Theta these days is the multi-chain. The Theta multiverse chain, meta chain it's called. It allows companies like Amazon to create their own blockchain, the Amazon coin, completely separate, but the approvals go through the Theta edge node, the Theta validator, and Guardian approval system, which is the best system out there because it doesn't cost any money. I mean, transactions are pennies and it's ultra fast because you have the validators instantly approving transactions, and then the Guardians, a completely different layer than the validators, saying, okay, is this correct? Did they do it correctly? And that's the system that Theta invented, and it works so well and it's so fast, crazy fast. And Theta is going to be, every person on the planet is going to be using the Theta network because you're going to go through, how many people buy shit off Amazon? Amazon can't create their own blockchain and be the controller of that blockchain because no one would trust them. You can change the blockchain type of thing. And they don't need to now with the meta chain. It is an amazing, and it's not just Amazon. It's every company on the planet. Even individuals can do this. And they'd have their own blockchain. And by the way, their own blockchain is not in violation of the Reggie Middleton patent. A standalone blockchain is not in violation of the Reggie Middleton patent, as far as I know. I don't think it is. There are other things that Theta Labs does that probably is in violation of the patent. We will see what happens with the Reggie. I own Veritasium because I know it's like an insurance policy for the whole thing. But yeah, there's so much that Theta can do. I'm excited about complete decentralization of video. Right now, there's not many people using it, but you can. The whole world can move over there when they say, oh my God, YouTube is so ridiculous now. They're putting the hammer. Oh, and careful with like Rumble and all the other ones because they are not as decentralized as you may think. With Theta, it's completely decentralized. No one can stop it. You can't censor it. You can't do anything. Very interesting. And Theta's cheap. Another reason why I like Theta right now, it's cheap, under $1. I mean, yes, it's not the 4 cents that we bought it for on the road to Ruta, but Theta is for the future. If I was to say, okay, what do I need in my pocket right now to survive the crash, I'd say silver and some cash. What do I want to do to position myself to be in the best place for the future? I'd say Theta. Number one pick. There are a couple other good ones. But Theta, I hope everybody understands this. Price, I mean, you look at the people who invest in cryptos, they're not the most savvy people. I get it. They're idealistic and all that. They don't look at what the underlying technology does, how it can change humanity, what kind of future are we moving into. They don't do that. They chase the shiny object. Look, Theta's going up. I'm going to run over and buy some Theta. So you want to buy it, just like silver, you want to buy it when it's down. And you can lighten up the load as, everybody goes, oh my God, how did we miss this? It was right under our eyes. Again, another patent. Congratulations. I think Reggie will get a couple more patents before this is all through also. Maybe, I don't know how many patents he applied for. Right now he has 3. He has the patent for peer-to-peer technology using blockchain in the United States of America and in Japan. In Japan, he has 2 different patents. I think Europe will grant him a patent. Because he invented a way to live without the middleman, without the criminal banksters. Peer-to-peer stock transactions. Imagine that. You don't have JP Morgan front running everything. You don't have high-frequency traders going up. Peer-to-peer. With anybody on the planet. Amazing technology. So we'll find out. So what I got for you, lots going on. Check out the private road. I dive deep on all this stuff. Go to roadtoruta.com. Yes, we are currently, as of today, maybe not tomorrow, giving away the Ruta Lives coin with every membership. Coolest coin ever. Collector's item, don't forget. Individually painted and numbered and certificate of authenticity with every private road subscription. That's what I got for you. You guys, good luck. Watch the show. Take it easy. Be safe. Talk to you later.